Time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from the Golden Q in Hayes. The Golden Q, dining, billiards, and a whole lot more. 2 blocks east of campus. The Golden Q. If the game is on, we're open. Tiger Talk is also brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, and compassion, all right here. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs. BTI, your John Deere dealer in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. G&L Tire and Automotive, complete automotive service and repair, and tires for all driving needs.
And a good Monday afternoon. Welcome into another edition of Tiger Talk here along the Tiger Sports Network. Gerard Wellbrock with you. We'll be chatting with head football coach Chris Brown until 1 o'clock. We certainly invite you to come on out and join us for lunch. They've got the grilled cheeseburger special today. In fact, we'll be going on all day. Always have great food and drink specials here at the Golden Q. You can check out their Burger of the Month. They're 2 blocks east of campus. The Golden Q, if the game's on, they're open. You can participate in the program. Send us a question. You can always tweet me at Gerard Wellbrock, or you can go to FHSUathletics.com and submit a question. Just click on Fan Zone. You'll see a drop-down menu, and then you'll, at the bottom of that, find Tiger Talk, submit a question. And if we use it, you'll be in the drawing for a gift certificate for some free food from the Golden Q here at Hayes. We've had a couple of questions submitted this week. We'll get to those a little bit later on the program, and we'd love to hear from you throughout the show. Fort Hays State coming off a tough 24-14 loss Saturday night at home to the Broncos of Central Oklahoma. Tigers have dropped 2 tough ones in a row, and we bring in now the head coach, Chris Brown. And we kind of touched last week the frustration of the Washburn game. It probably is even doubly frustrating, kind of in a place Tiger football hasn't been in a while. How's everybody doing?
We're hanging in there. It's just, welcome to the MIAA.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way things happen in this conference. When you look back at, 17, 18, and even 19, a lot of those games that we won were close games, and we found ways to win them. And right now we're just not finding ways to win ball games. And hopefully, we would get things turned around, get with our kids, today, in meetings, here at 2:30, and just have a little chat, little powwow, and just try to change the whole attitude and get motivated again and try to find ways to win ball games.
It's interesting. You mentioned the MIAA, and it is. You look teams that have success. I mean, they win a lot of close games. Even Northwest over the years, they won a lot of close games and have that knack to do that. The Massey rankings, which it's not the coaches poll, it's not the media poll, but it kind of compiles who you've played, their power, strength of schedule, and all that. You're ranked 13th in the country in the Massey rankings. There are 8 MIAA teams in the top 20. Kind of shows you the type of year it is, and kind of shows you the type of team that you have. And I bring that up. You go back to 17 when you had the undefeated season. You weren't ranked forever, but you were ranked in the top 10 in the Massey for a good chunk of the year. So again, it's a good indicator. You've got a good football team, just have not been able to close the deal and get those W's.
It is. I feel like we got a really good football team. I mean, I think we have a lot of young kids playing. I was talking with Coach Harris yesterday about this, and look defensively. Devin White's a freshman. Ty Cooper's a freshman. All these guys that are playing right now. Mason Perez is a freshman. And then you look at the defense on D-line. I mean, Wyatt Seidel never really hasn't been played. This is really his first year starting. Dalton Coon's first year starting as well. And we got, Colin Gurley comes in there. And there's just a lot of young kids, across the board that are playing for us right now. And it takes time to learn it. It takes time to understand our defense and what we're doing and playing comfortable. And then even offensively, you look across the board too. I mean, Bucky's had some rest, but it was Matt Wendelberger for all those years. And, Soto's a new guy. And offensive line-wise, you got, the really ones that played are Mari and Pat. And then you have Manny Ramsey and the other receivers are all brand new guys. So we just have a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces that, we're trying to figure it out, and they're trying to figure it out, and it'll click. One of these days it'll click, and hopefully it's this week that it clicks.
You mentioned leadership in the postgame show a little bit, and that is always such an important thing, and it kind of goes to a little bit of what you're saying. You've got a lot of, I think, talented young players But as far as team leaders, it's really not their time yet. It's not their role. There is a natural progression in leadership. It's not a huge senior class. It feels like maybe that has been some of the issues, and especially in tight games, who's going to be the guy that step forward and kind of lead you over the hump and get wins.
It is, we're still trying to find those guys as well, and with a lot of youth, but that's no excuse. We still got to go play football and win these games that we know. I feel like we should have won a lot of these games as well, and but it is, and it comes down to leadership and making sure guys are accountable and doing the things that they need to do to win ball games, whether it's the weight room, whether it's the classroom, whether it's film study, whether it's knowing their assignments and doing their job. And, all those things go hand in hand. And a lot of times I sit there and watch this. I feel like we've got 8 guys on the field playing and instead of 11. And you need all 11 guys doing their job. And it's just a few here and there that are kind of messing up or taking plays off or, not getting the job done. So once we clean all that up, we'd be pretty good right now, but we just got to get all that stuff cleaned up and get better at it.
You mentioned after the game physicality. Just don't feel your team has played, with the exception of maybe the Kearney game, the second half of the Kearney game, played to the physical way, both offensively and defensively, that you like. And then you look at turnovers, you're negative in turnover margin. You've always been near the top of the MIAA. You only have the 1 interception. You haven't created as many takeaways as you normally do. And I'm guessing those two things kind of go hand in hand.
They do. And you watch across the board, every team in this conference, there's not a lot of physicality in the game of football anymore. A lot of the stuff's been taken away with, you look at high school sports. There's not a lot of hitting in practice anymore. They can't do certain drills. They can only, there's only a percentage of the day that they can actually have contact, and that kind of goes with us as well. And the board drills have been taken away. Some of the things that, is where you worked on your physicality has really gone away, from the game. So I guess we got to come up with better ways to bring that physicality back, because that's something I bank on. That's something I put on our team, and that's who we are, and that's what we're known for. And we got to find a way to get it back. And a lot of it, it starts in the weight room too. Our kids got to get stronger. They got to put on some weight, and that strength and confidence gives you that opportunity to be physical.
Yeah, kind of on that high school. You're kind of now you're coaching guys who have kind of gone through their entire high school careers, because before that, it's slowly changed with less contact. You see it in college. It's even in the NFL. They don't hit nearly as much during practice as they used to. But this is kind of the first group of high school players that's how it's been for their entire career. They really don't know any other way. It may be how football's changing, but yet it's still a physical game, and still the teams that hit the hardest and are the most physical tend to have the most success.
Yeah, because on the field now it's all the best players, and they're all big and they're all strong and they're all fast, and the physicality of college game is a lot different than a high school game, and that's a big adjustment, for some of these kids, and not doing it. And now they've gotten a year experience at it, they'll understand and hopefully get better at it. But we got to find ways to bring it back into our practice somehow. We have to follow the rules, of course,
right.
But just finding ways to make sure that we get that physicality. Hitting one another, walking through each other, whatever it might be, just getting used to that contact again.
Well, we'll certainly see if the Tigers can get things going. Road game this week. They'll be in Warrensburg taking on Central Missouri. They've been struggling in their own right. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll review some of the highlights from the game on Saturday against Central Oklahoma, and we'll also take your questions. If you want to get in touch with us, you can still do so. Ask the coach. Go to FHSUathletics.com. Go to Fan Zone. You'll have a drop-down menu. You'll see there at the bottom. Submit your question. If we use it, you'll be in the running for a free gift certificate for food here at the Golden Q. Tiger Talk is brought to you by G&L Tire and Automotive, where they've got tires for all driving conditions and budgets, along with complete automotive service and repair. G&L Tire and Automotive, they're just east of 8th and Main. They're on the bricks in downtown Hayes. We'll take a break. More with the coach as Tiger Talk continues here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction. Fuller at quarterback slaps his hands. They're going to run an option. They pitch it to Waiters, and Waiters is going to take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Fort Hays State. The option between the two quarterbacks, and Bashawn Waiters has his third rush rushing touchdown, and the Tigers drive it down and score on their opening possession. They lead 6-0 with 11:41 to go in the first. And welcome back to Tiger Talk. We are live today at the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus. They'll have the games on tonight. American League Championship Series, of course, Monday Night Football. So come on out, have yourself a great burger, and watch some football and baseball here at the Golden Q. If the game's on, they're open. Yeah, good start for the Tigers. They score a touchdown of their opening drive. 7 plays, 73 yards. Vashawn Waiters on the 1-yard run. I went back and looked. You've scored touchdowns in your 7 games. You've scored on your opening possession in 5 of those 7 games. They've all been touchdowns, but yet you're 2-3 in those games. It's kind of uncanny. I mean, it's usually how you like to do it. Score first, get the early lead, but that hasn't necessarily correlated into success this year.
It hasn't. It's just, usually we score and then defense stops them. We go score again, and we just keep the throttle down, where now we just kind of, we scored. They scored on a big play, and then we're just kind of, we got to quit worrying about those things that happen. It happened. Come back. Let's go score again. It becomes a shootout, but hopefully it doesn't. But for some reason, we just kind of falter just a little bit when those things happen. And then I don't know if we just don't believe or if we get nervous or get kind of puckered and we just freeze. But I know we got to find ways to get out of that and quit worrying about those things and just worry about ourselves.
Yeah, they come back with a 59-yard touchdown pass to Marquise King. That was the first time you've allowed an opponent to score on their opening possession this year. It was the first time I went back and checked since the playoff game in 2018 at U-Indy that an opponent has scored against you on their opening possession. You've usually been pretty good. It was kind of a weird busted play that they got the big play on you, but as you said, you've been pretty good about scoring and then getting that stop, and that wasn't the case Saturday.
No, it wasn't, and we just got to continue to work on that. I mean, it's kind of a back-and-forth game, and the first half was, it went fast. It wasn't one of the I thought the Washburn half was fast, but it seemed like this one went even faster, and we ended up getting, ahead of him, right before halftime, and we just kind of got flat from there. Just still trying to figure out who these guys are and figure out this team and how to get their pulse going and just what makes this team really tick. And I just don't think we've put that all together yet.
Well, it felt like you're going to have a big game. You look at that opening drive, you had 4 big chunk, really 5 if you consider it a touchdown. It was a 10-yard run, so maybe that's not considered a chunk play, but you had a 13-yard conversion on 3rd down on a run, and you have a come back with a 15-yard, I think it was a 16-yard pass, another 16-yard pass, and you get down to the 10 with a 25-yard or a 15-yard run, and then you had some different looks, had some 2-back sets, some formations we haven't seen, and then you bring in both quarterbacks and run the option from quarterback to quarterback, some we hadn't seen this year. So you kind of had a lot of different looks that you threw at UCO on that opening drive.
Yeah, and that's what you try to do. You try to give them all these different looks just to kind of see how they're going to align to all those looks. And are they going to play man coverage? Are they going to play zone? Are they going to twist? Are they going to, to different formations? And if we give them a 3-by-1 set, are they going to roll to a cover 3 look? But those first 10 plays, you try not to get off of them too much, just because you want to see exactly how they're going to try to defend everything. And we got a good idea in that, and we started attacking the things that we thought that would work, and they just didn't work out for us.
We had a nice touchdown there by Vashawn to give you that early lead, and you'd move the ball even though you didn't score again until your last possession of the half. You're able to move the ball, but you got near midfield, and boy, for whatever reason, things kind of bogged down and just could never get that big 3rd down then to keep the drive going and maybe put some more pressure on to get into scoring range.
Yeah, it was. That first drive, everything was clicking, moving pretty quick, and then it's just, like again I said, is 8, 9, 10 guys playing instead of all 11, and when that happens, good things don't happen. So we just got to find a way to get everybody on the same page, make sure they're playing hard every single play, doing their job, doing their assignment. If we will do that, this team could be really, really good.
You were kind of mixing and matching that offensive line a little bit. I know Chris Strotter wasn't available. He had a funeral for his grandmother, which is unfortunate, and certainly our sympathies go to them. So you're down a starter, and then you have to mix and match. You're dealing with some injuries. It was kind of a mix and match, and just try to find healthy bodies and guys who could get the job done on Saturday up front.
Yeah, and when you look at it, Gobers played a lot for us. When you look at 2018, 2009, he played a lot for us. Tyler never really bought it, but he's played some football before. He came from Derby, went to play at I think it was Abilene Christian for a little while, yep. And he's had some playing time and understands the game. It's just not getting on the same page, not doing your job, not doing your assignment, but you always tell your kids you got to prepare like you're the starter. You know, if you don't prepare like you're the starter, then good things usually don't happen. And you know, if you're not competing to start, good things usually don't happen as well. So it's just having that right mindset, preparing yourself and getting ready. And you know, sometimes those kids just don't do that. And they're not ready, and you know, good things don't happen.
It's funny. End of the day, it felt like Adrian Soto wasn't as much a part of this game as he's been in the past. But then you look, he ends up having 10 carries. I think he averages about 12 to 13 a game. So pretty close to that. He had 90 yards, and he had 4 catches again, or I guess 2 catches for 29 yards, but still was productive. Just kind of one of those weird games. It didn't feel like it was, and you look at the end of the day, he ran for 90 yards in the evening.
Yeah, he still does the thing. Then we got Keelan Chapman in a little bit more than we normally do as well, because he had a great week of practice, and you know, we don't want to just keep pounding Soto, because I mean, eventually he's going to wear out and get tired, and you know, you got to have 2 backs. I mean, that's just the way it is these days. This day and age is 2 backs are huge, and you know, we got to use both of them. And I thought they both did a very good job for us.
You mentioned Chapman, because it felt like in the Washburn game last week he was kind of dancing a little bit, wasn't hitting the hole, and even though his stat line may not wow you, but he did finish with 30 yards on 8 carries, just under 4 per carry. Just felt like he hit the hole harder and ran the ball better than he had up until that point.
He did. You know, he ran well. He was downhill in a couple of third down plays, and he went in there and he was straight downhill and got the first down, and that's something that we've been talking to him about as well. And you know, he listened. You know, he listened to the coaching. He's doing what the coaches asked him to do, and he had a great game for us, and some of those third downs are huge, you know, just to kind of keep moving the change. But no, he did what we asked him to do. He's playing hard, and we got to continue to use him as well.
We are right at the bottom of the hour, so let's go ahead real quick, squeeze in 10 seconds for station identification. This is Tiger Talk along the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
With a combination of Kaiser Liquor and Fort Hays State Athletics, you're sure to be into something good. Kaiser Liquor and 14 KEYS Hayes.
We are live at the Golden Q. It's Tiger Talk on this Monday afternoon. Good to have you a part of it here along the Tiger Sports Network. Gerard Wellbrock, Fort Hays State head coach Chris Brown. Had to be frustrating. We've seen it now in a couple of games. You've had several 3rd and 1 situations and just not able to get the first down. And it's got to drive you crazy.
It's frustrating. You know, it's very frustrating. But it always just comes down to 1 or 2 guys not getting the job done, whether it's our back not hitting the hole or a guy not getting a block, or, you know, just those little things. And a lot of it, just to understand the situations. 3rd and short. You know, what a lot of teams do on 3rd and short, they pinch their linemen, you know, bring guys off the edge or whatever it might be, or slanting. You know, you got to be prepared in those situations, and we weren't. And, you know, our kids missed the block, and we got stoned. So, again, just young kids, guys got to figure it out. We got to understand what's happening in front of us and just be prepared.
How much freedom does Chance have to change the play? It felt like a couple of times you're in some 3rd or even 2nd and short, and they put 9 or 10 in the box. Does he have the ability to call out of that and option to a different play? How does that all go?
Not right now. You know, we see things a lot, and then we watch a lot of film, and, you know, it's not that we don't trust him to do those things, but just, you know, with what we see offensively, as coordinators and head coaches, and, you know, quarterback coaches, all those guys, you know, we put a lot of time into seeing what's happening in front of us. It's just us getting the job done in front of us.
And football's changed so much, because you used to huddle and then you had your play, but now you kind of get in a pre-snap mode, see how they line up, and then you'll go to the side. You know, everybody looks, everybody sees that, and gets the play. So in a sense, I guess that kind of isn't audible. You had something in mind, and then you get a look before you actually snap the ball and change it.
Yeah, you do. It's just a call. You know, you give your quarterback and your lineman, and, you know, this is what we're trying to do, just to kind of alert them, and, hey, we're going to try to figure out what's happening in front of us, and we're going to make our call off of that. So, like you said, it is like the check of a quarterback. We've already kind of built that in, you know, for ourselves, and you know, we see what's happening, and we call what we feel is the best play.
Tiger Talk is brought to you today by the Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis, here to make every story shine brighter. It's the way they do banking, one story at a time. You can check them out at goldenbeltbank.com. We're going to take another break. We'll be back with more Tiger Talk live from the Golden Q here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
7-7 tie, early second quarter. Fuller sets up a screen pass. He's got Soto at the 10 to the 15, breaks a tackle 20. He's got a first down as he carries the defender out across to the 26. That was Jonathan Mosley, but a nice little swing pass to Adrian Soto, who's so good at open space, and a first down for Fort Hays State on a gain of 15 yards. Yeah, that was a big play early on in the ball game, and Adrian is so good in open space. It's really fun to see. I think it makes him such a good receiver. He has got those great hands, but if you can get him in space, and he's a good between the tackles runner. He's proven that. He showed that again Saturday night. But man, you get him in space, he could be as good as anybody in the conference and certainly the country.
He is. I mean, he's got great speed. He's got great vision. He can make people miss. He'll run through people as well, which is the all-around bag. But yeah, he just needs a little bit of a hole, and when he sees it, he's going to be gone, and he just needs a little space to get things done, and he can make a lot of things happen for us. I mean, that kid is a weapon, and we got to continue using him.
Well, it's been fun to watch him develop, and just a sophomore for the Tigers. Tiger Talk is brought to you by Adams Brown, where they do more than just run numbers and file tax returns. They work hard to become strategic allies. Adams Brown, strategic allies, and CPAs. Got a nice scoring drive, scored right before halftime to grab the lead, and felt maybe that would get you over the hump, get that momentum. But boy, just offensively could not generate anything in the second half. I haven't had a chance to go back and look. I don't remember the last time that you were shut out in a half. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. I just you just try to figure out everything and see everything in front of you, and like I said, it just goes back to making sure all 11 guys are playing and doing their job and doing their assignment every single play. And we just we're not getting that right now. And when we finally get that, I mean, this team it can explode. I mean, you saw at the fourth quarter, Kearney Air, everybody was on the same page, doing the same things, and we still got to play better as a team. Offensively, defensively, special teams, helping each other out and get closer and love one another and play for one another. And I just don't know if we're quite there yet.
John Johnson, second consecutive start at that linebacker spot after the injury to Lake Heimerman. I think got 12 tackles. He's had double-figure tackles. I know your offense or your defense is kind of geared for the linebackers the way you do it with the front line and everything, and they're going to make a lot of plays. But boy, he has really, for a young kid, just seized the opportunity. Felt like he had his nose around the ball quite a bit. For a guy who played safety in high school, he's had to kind of learn this linebacker spot kind of on the fly this year.
On the fly, and he got a little bit of it last fall and last spring, but not a lot, not enough to really get him comfortable with what we're doing. But every week he's getting better, and he just needs to continue to grow and learn our defense and become more comfortable back there. But you can see that him and Min just both. I mean, in the future, they're going to be really good linebackers for us.
Look like Jordan Starks ran better. Like maybe he's finally healthier than he's been. I know he's been battling that foot really since the Missouri Western game, but it just felt like he was flying around the ball a little bit more. Seems to be maybe as healthy as he's been in quite a while.
Yeah, it is. He is. It's just getting comfortable with it. I mean, all these little different injuries as a football player that just kind of keep nagging along as you go along, but he's feeling a lot better week in and week out, and he has to continue playing well for us, and he's a great leader there in that second in the back end, and he is athletic and he can make some plays.
The way they run it with the two quarterbacks, it always is kind of one of those situations. The Brown tended to run more. Calhoun tended to pass more, and it's usually the opposite that maybe hurts you. Did you feel you did a good job of maybe defending the pass with Brown and the run with Keats Calhoun? I know he was able to break off a couple of runs against you.
I thought we did a decent job. I still feel like we missed too many tackles still, and still guys not staying where they were supposed to stay and being in the right spot, a couple of times. And I just feel like we still give up too many big plays. If we just eliminate those, I mean, we win that ball game as well. But we still got to score offensively. We're young, we're just trying to get everything figured out, and they're starting to, and maybe we need to simplify some things for them and not have so much in the package for them as well, just because they are so young, and just letting them play a little bit, instead of just thinking and then try not to make a mistake. Just give them a couple calls, let's let them play football, let them get comfortable with what we're doing and fly around.
Turnovers is such a key part of this game, and we kind of touched on it earlier in the ball game with the physical play, but you've always been really good at generating turnovers. I mean, you look at the Chiefs right now, some of their troubles, I think they haven't created turnovers like they have. Such a big, and it can swing a game. You just have not been able to do that, and then obviously Soto had the big fumble, and that kind of was a game turner because you're maybe going in there to score, retake the lead, and just could never really recover after that. But an area you've thrived on just hasn't quite been there yet.
Yeah, no, everything that we've always built, this program on, physicality, creating turnovers, explosive plays offensively, just we don't have any of that right now, and hopefully we can find it somewhere this year, and I have to wait till next year. But I just feel like we've got to start putting those things together, and maybe we just need to simplify some things for all of our kids, and just make sure that they know exactly what they're doing, so they play fast and then they play physical and make things happen. So we'll see. But it's just only time tells, right?
Exactly. And another shot this Saturday. Try to put it all together at Central Missouri. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop. You can dine in, carry out, or get fast delivery. 625-7114, or use their handy Taco Shop app. It's the Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll get to some of your questions that we got in over this week for head coach Chris Brown. We're live at the Golden Q. It's Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wurtenberger Construction.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here!
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM. Do you believe in love? Glory days. Well,
94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Vashawn Waiters, the quarterback. He rolls, he throws, he's got Butke. Butke to the 45, he's at the 50, and down to the UCO 47-yard line. Malik Gray, the tackle, and may have just saved a touchdown. That's a 22-yard pass completion from the backup Vashawn Waiters to tight end Hunter Butke, and it's a first down for the Tigers. Yeah, one of Butke's, I think, 3 catches on Saturday. The only completion, the only attempt of the night for Vashawn Waiters. We've talked about him before being a good pass thrower as well as other things for this Fort Hays State football team. Hey, Tiger Talk is brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. Had some questions in this week. Again, you can do it anytime you want. Go to FHSUathletics.com. Go to Fan Zone. Drop-down menu. You'll see at the bottom, Tiger Talk, submit a question. If we use it, you'll be in the drawing for a gift card from the Golden Q. One of them was about Chris Strotter. We just talked about that earlier. He had a funeral to go to. That's why he was not on the team. Hopefully back this week, I'd assume.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back yesterday, so we'll see if he's at the team meeting tonight. And, sad for him. He was really close with his grandmother, and unfortunately she passed away. But great kid. He'll be back, and he'll be ready to roll.
Well, hopefully that gets a little more stability to that offensive line a little bit. All right, I thought it was an interesting question about mentors, your coaching mentors. Who's influenced your coaching and maybe you've modeled your program after?
Yeah, there's a few. Of course, my high school coach, Gary Cornelison, my senior year was a big mentor for me. Before him was Alan Haskell, before Coach Cornelison took in. And, he really took me in as well. So those two. And then, going to Pitt and play, Coach Burrows he was always in my corner. He pushed me to the max. Maybe the best player I could possibly be, and had me ready week in and week out. And then, of course, Craig Shurig at Washburn. I learned a lot from him with being him there for 9 years. Coaching and kind of seeing how he does things and how he treats the players. But all those guys are probably, I kind of combined all their coaching styles and made my own, and then a little bit of myself as well. And that's kind of how I kind of put this all together. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but right now it didn't feel right. In the years past, it felt really good. So maybe I need to change some things here now.
We'll get back to it feeling good. And I'm sure, like anything else, it's at different times in your life. 1, you're a high school player. 2, you're a collegiate player. 3, you're a young coach, and then now you're more. But all of those kind of hit you at different points in your life, so the impact is different, and what you take from them, I'm sure, is a little bit different as well.
Yeah, it is. Coaching high school ball is a little bit different. Being coached by, Coach Cornelison, and then going back and coaching with him, you saw two different sides,
right?
Of everything. Where Coach Burrows, it was just, just as a player, never GA'd there, nothing like that. But then, Shurig was there at that time, and I saw him coach, and then I actually got to coach with him at Washburn. So, probably, things always change all the time, even with the kids these days, the way they change. And it's just, the one I probably keep most in touch with is Shurig. We probably talk, once a week, maybe it's once every 2 weeks, but I know we talk quite a bit about things and how things are going, and even Rich Wright and I talk quite a bit too, so, and just kind of bounce ideas off each other.
When did you know you wanted to be a college coach or just a coach?
I didn't really. It's crazy because I've always had great coaches, but I never really thought, I didn't know if I was even going to go to college or not. I didn't even know there was anything such as D2 football. I didn't. And then, Pittsburgh started recruiting me, and, Washburn University recruited me as well. And that's kind of then, even then at that point, I didn't know. My dad was a truck driver, and mom was a stay-at-home mom. And then I was like, that's kind of what I was going to drive a truck or something like that, And then I just finally got into it and started going through school and said, this is something I want to do because I love football so much. I want to stay involved with it, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity for me, and great things have happened for me, going through football as well. So that's kind of when probably my second year of college is when I kind of really thought, because I thought about business, stats and all that stuff, economics. It wasn't for me, and I was like, I'll be a dentist. And you start taking all these biology classes, and no, thank you. And I was looking at the dollar signs more than anything else when I was thinking about those. And then you took those classes, I was like, I need to coach, and then that's what I need to do.
Well, we're glad you got into the coaching field. And I'm kind of glad you're not a dentist. I don't know. I don't know. So we're glad you're coaching. And kind of a follow-up on that, and you kind of touched on with Coach Sherrick. How often do you consult? And when you're going through a rough patch, every program, I don't care who you are. Northwest has gone through it. Pitt State has gone through it. You're kind of going through it now compared to what you've been the last 4 or 5 years. You have those stretches. How much do you consult with some of those guys who've kind of led you along the way?
Quite often, especially with Coach Sherrick, there at Washburn, he's probably the main one. And the coaches on my staff as well, those guys are, I appreciate everything that they do and all the insight that they have on everything that we do as well. And, they think about things different than I do. And it's good to get their ideas and their thoughts as well. And so I use Sherrick quite a bit. Rich Wright too. And, there's others. Higgins, I talk to Higgins as well. And I still stay in touch with Partridge, which is crazy, him being at Mo West. And he was actually coaching at Mo West when I was playing at Pitt. So, some of those guys, and even Jerry Kill, sometimes I'll reach out to him. He's down at TCU now just to kind of see what their thoughts are and what we need to do differently and just get different ideas.
It is it's a small world, but yet it's a big world, certainly in those situations. I thought this was an interesting one about sports movies, which can be very motivating and inspirational. Do you have a favorite? Do you maybe have a movie night with your team to try to get them back on track? But favorite sports movie?
Right, I read that while you were here, so I cheated.
Okay.
Because I really couldn't remember any. I don't know, just my brain's gone, I guess. But
you had a few concussions in college.
Yeah, a few. Probably still living in one right now. But, I always liked to watch the Friday Night Lights. I always did like that. When I first got the job here, my family stayed in Topeka at the time, and so we'd kind of back then it wasn't Zoom. It was, I think it was Skype.
Right,
what it was.
Yes.
So we'd Skype and watch Friday Night Lights together, every once a week. And so that one. And then, always liked Rudy. Rudy's always been a big one, to watch. Facing the Giants was a good one as well.
Right.
And then probably my all-time favorite, I can't even remember, it was with the little kids.
Oh.
When they had that little film, there's the Cowboys.
Little Giants.
The Little Giants.
The Little Giants.
Yes, that was. Thanks, Jordan. The Little Giants. I loved that one. I don't know why, but that one just always kind of cracked me up, made me laugh, and had a good time. But those are probably the ones. Rudy and Friday Night Lights and there's a bunch of them out there. And Facing the Giants is a big one too. It's a good Christian one as well. So.
Well, when they're done well, sports movies are incredible. When they're not, they can be pretty bad. But yeah, and see you. Before you saw the question and you said, I don't think I've even seen any. And then you saw the list and realized, watched a lot of them, more than you remembered.
Yep.
Also pretty good ones. So, yeah, we appreciate the questions. Keep them coming in. Again, if we use it, you'll be in the drawing for a gift certificate from the Golden Q, which they'll notify you by email. It's kind of an EEK certificate, if you will, that you can use for food next time you're in at the Golden Q. And, again, all you have to do is go to FHSUathletics.com. Click on Fan Zone to get the drop-down menu, and right there you'll go. You can get the question. A lot of people obviously taking advantage of that, and we appreciate the questions. Always kind of fun to get some other thoughts and some other questions for the coach. Tiger Talk is brought to you by the Hayes Orthopedic Institute. Expertise, technology, and compassion, all right here. The Hayes Orthopedic Institute. They are the official team physicians for Fort Hays State Athletics. We're going to take our final break. We'll come back and preview the Mules of Central Missouri. That's who the Tigers will face this Saturday afternoon in Warrensburg, and we'll do that right after this break along the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here We're on Facebook, and there is a Listen Live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country, 99 KZ Country.
3 receivers right, 2 to the left, empty backfield for Fuller. Slaps the hands, takes the shotgun snap, steps up in the pocket, looking to the end zone, fires it deep. It's caught! Hunter Butke! Touchdown! Fort Hays State! And the Tigers have the lead with 4 seconds to go until halftime. Yeah, that was the Tigers' second touchdown. Unfortunately, their last touchdown gave them a 14-10 halftime lead Saturday in Lewis Field against Central Oklahoma. This Saturday, they'll be in Warrensburg taking on the Mules of Central Missouri. And they're a team that has kind of in a position they haven't been for a while. They've been 2-5 since 1996. They were a playoff team a year ago, or 2 years ago, the last full season in 19, and obviously they got off to the slow 0-3 start. It's been a struggle for them. So in a way, really two desperate teams just trying to find some way to get on track this Saturday, which could make for an intriguing game.
It could. They're a good football team. You watch them across the board. They changed quarterbacks, a few weeks ago. I think it was against maybe Northwest they changed, or maybe it's after that. But he's a good football player as well. They got pretty good backs. They got good receivers. I mean, they do a lot offensively with motions and shifts and then all these different things that kind of confuse the defense a little bit. And then, defensively, they're going to give us a bunch of looks as well. It's going to play a nickel package, a straight, 4-down lineman package, and then who knows what's next, and sometimes they bring pressure, sometimes they don't. They'll play some cover 1, some cover 4. I mean, just a lot of different things that they're going to throw in front of you. So, we just got to prepare and watch a lot of film and get our kids ready.
Yeah, look at Tweehouse. Was at Washburn and transferred. He's now one of the 2 quarterbacks that they have used and has been starting as of late. His brother was on that team, but he was at another school. Washburn quarterback ends up at Central Missouri. I won't get into detail. I think this is probably a little bit more on the up and up than that situation. But it's interesting. You're never quite sure who to prepare for. You've seen a lot of that this year. It's kind of been weird in that regard.
Yeah, you have. UCO had 2 different quarterbacks. Now they have 2 different quarterbacks, and you just never know. On any given day or any game who's going to be in that game, and things change a lot. As the season goes on too, with injuries and things like that, and then who's playing their best. And so, heck, who knows? I mean, I know they're going to be a good football team. I know they're going to be ready. I know they're hungry for a win, and so are we. So, I think last time we were there, they got us. On a few last-second things that fake punt and big plays down the sideline.
You could argue cost you the playoffs in 19.
A lot of things. So, we just got to go ready, be prepared, be locked in, focused, not let this past, wear on us. We got to keep moving forward and getting ourselves better.
Seems like their problems maybe have been more on the defensive end. They've given up some big numbers this year. Hopefully something you can exploit and continue.
I hope so. We just got to find out and find those holes and find those spots and get everybody on the same page and knowing exactly what we're trying to do and where we're trying to attack. And, I thought we've done pretty well with that, but some of these teams will always throw something a little bit different at you. Maybe they're not much of a blitzing team, but now they're going to bring all kinds of pressure. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. We just got to adjust and be ready.
All right, sounds good, Coach. We appreciate it. Hang in there. I know you're pushing all the buttons you can, and you'll get this thing figured out this year and finish the season strong.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Gerard.
There you go. Head coach Chris Brown again. Tigers in Warrensburg taking on Central Missouri. That's a 1:30 kick Saturday afternoon. We'll be on the air at 12:30 with the Auto World pregame show on Tiger Radio Mix 103. Tiger Talk is brought to you by Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, The Taco Shop, BTI, Hayes Orthopedic Institute, G&L Tire and Automotive, and of course we're live every Monday, 12:15 until 1 at the Golden Q. They're 2 blocks east of campus. The Golden Q. If the game's on, they're open. Of course, you can always catch the video replay of Tiger Talk on Hayes Post. Appreciate Jordan for video of that. For the coach, Chris Brown, Gerard Welbrock, so long, everyone.